It is 6 o'clock. I will call the planning commission meeting to order for Monday, August 10th.
Full chairs up.
Roll call.
Okay, Lopes Serrero,
Here.
Sagami is excused. Cronin, I haven't heard from him. Anybody else?
I have not.
Decent,
Here.
Current, sounds like he's supposed to be calling in, but it doesn't appear he is right now. Jordan
Here.
and Mumper.
Here. All right. I will open the public comment period for items that did not appear on the agenda as noted during public hearings. I have 4 public comment forms here. I'll just go in order. Are any of you here to speak on something that's not on the agenda, or would you prefer to speak during that item? Dean, your dean?
Yeah, I think I would prefer to speak during that.
Okay. What item is that?
The conditional use permit.
Okay. Okay. And then the other ones are related to the fancier license. Are you guys all okay with speaking during that specific item?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Does anybody else wish to give public comment at this time? All right. Written communications, disclosures, or recusals. Does anybody have any? Okay. Minutes from the July 13, 2026 Planning Commission meeting.
Move to approve.
Go ahead, Joe.
Yep, move to approve. Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5, public hearing, project number 202-600-263. Request to rezone 4205 and 4307 Weston Avenue from B2 Highway Business to LI Limited Industrial, and request for a conditional use permit to construct a personal storage facility, single public hearing. Item A, I'll open the public hearing. Staff presentation.
All right, the public hearing is for 2 related applications for property located at 4205 and 4307 Weston Avenue, consisting of approximately 4.01 acres of vacant land. The applicant is requesting a zoning map amendment to rezone the property from B2 Highway Business to LI Limited Industrial, and a conditional use permit to construct and operate a personal storage facility. The village is holding 1 public hearing on both applications so that the proposed zoning amendment and development concept can be considered together. However, these are 2 separate requests that require separate decisions. The village board must first determine whether the requested rezoning is appropriate. If the village board approves the rezoning, the plan commission will then consider the conditional use permit and associated site plan at a future meeting after staff has completed a more detailed technical review. So the rezoning request is the first item. And the question before the plan commission this evening regarding the rezoning is not whether a personal storage facility is generally a desirable business or whether it may be appropriate somewhere within the village. The question is whether the requested LI Limited Industrial Zoning District is appropriate for this location and whether it is consistent with the village's adopted planning documents, including the comprehensive plan and the Weston Avenue corridor plan. Staff's review concludes that the requested rezoning is not consistent with those adopted planning documents. The comprehensive plan and Weston Avenue corridor plan identify this portion of the Weston Avenue corridor for future commercial development and identify B2 Highway Business and B3 General Business as the preferred implementation zoning districts. Staff finds that rezoning the property to LI Limited Industrial would not implement the adopted long-term land use strategy for this corridor. The conditional use permit. Regarding the conditional use permit, staff has completed a preliminary review of the application. Because the property is not currently zoned to allow consideration of a personal storage facility, staff is recommending that the plan commission receive testimony on the conditional use permit, but defer action until after the village board has acted on the rezoning request. Should the rezoning ultimately be approved, staff will complete a comprehensive review of the proposed site plan for compliance with the village zoning ordinance, including the personal storage facility performance standards, building and site design standards, landscaping, lighting, stormwater management, access, and any other applicable ordinance requirements before returning the conditional use permit to the Plan Commission for final consideration at an upcoming meeting. The public hearing. At this time, staff is available to answer questions regarding the applications and the staff reports. Following any questions from the commission, I would recommend opening the public hearing to receive testimony from the applicant and members of the public.
We, like that.
Sure.
Sure. Go ahead. Yeah, that'd be great.
I also have wanted the engineering.
Okay.
We know you, Steve, but can you just state your name and address for the record?
Sure, Steve Minell, address is 8303 Alderson Street, Weston. The packet is pretty thick, there's a tremendous amount of information here, but I'll try to simplify it. Basically, what we're proposing to do is change the zoning on that parcel. And although the comprehensive plan that was done, I guess originally, it was set up in 98. There were plans and a proposal as far as what was going to happen commercially to that area out there. I ended up purchasing the property in 11, and I did come here. I should pointed it out that I did come here in 12, requesting same thing, putting up a storage facility. At that time, there was a whole lot of hype about big boxes going in across the street. There was a 4 lanes that were going to be put in, and even so far as putting the road in from the transport way up over the hill, and then putting a cul-de-sac, I guess, across childcare parcel, and then my 2 lots, there and stuff. All kinds of stuff was happening over a period of years. Just to think right now that the comprehensive plan that was set up way back then should still apply and not be changed is kind of interesting to me. I mean, it puts a whole lot of burden on me as well as the other property owners, because it limits what you can do. If you say that this is engraved in stone and you're not going to change it, well, we have the ability to change it. The comprehensive plan is supposed to, the state required that to get consistency in applying different land uses and the application of those ordinances to it. So we have the ability to make the change and modify the plan, which we can do. LI was the one that was recommended to me a couple of years ago by Jennifer, because that's on the south side of my lot, the 2 lots. So that's why we were looking to do that. Analyzing and reviewing the paperwork here, I know she kind of pre-filled out some of the questions that are normally answered by, the planning committee. But it puts a whole lot of burden on here. That means what? I can't do anything for another 28 years or whatever. I mean, when the TIF was set up, nobody did anything on that strip of land. Nothing got put in. Although a lot of experts got paid to give their opinion on what should be going in there. Nothing ever happened. I'm not aware of anybody building a house down the road. I'm not aware of anybody even putting up a garage or anything. So the likelihood of it being the same as it was all those years ago, it's not. And Schofield Avenue already still has a TIF, that they're able to fund or money's available for there. And even in the plans that they had there, in the comprehensive plan and the corridor plan, they make reference that still is in existence. It's a better place for retail. So to restrict what I'm doing, because we might have retail sometime in the future, puts a whole lot of burden on me, needlessly. It's very restrictive, and it doesn't need to be, because we can make a modification. The conditional use permit can address any concerns that are out there, whatever it might be. I don't even know what they are, but it can be addressed. But we can modify the plan, and we can change it. We have the ability to do that. So I don't know if there's any other questions, comments.
So Steve, I have history with you on this, going back to what you're talking about. I think it's important that the other members understand at the time, there was some thought that there was gonna be some retail development in that area and, with, issues with the state and with power lines and all that sort of stuff, the likelihood of retail developing there has become more and more remote. And I'm looking at that and the fact that it's labeled as commercial makes sense to me. But so do you have you thought about, and I'm sure you have, the idea that that land might have more value commercially, or you might be better off going somewhere else and buying something in a LI district?
Well,
I mean, have you looked at that at all?
there's nothing that I've seen that's acceptable. I mean, you know, I don't want to be in some corner somewhere non-existent. I mean, when I applied the last time and, you know, John Evans was on the board and he spoke up and said, well, my son was looking at doing something on that corner because him and his son at that time, John had retired from the bank and was selling real estate. And John made the comment in the session that, well, my son was looking at doing something on that. And I asked, I said, I'm a property owner and nobody ever talked to me. I mean, nobody contacted me. Well, that was before the meeting, and afterwards, nothing happened. So in the 15 years that I've owned that, I've had one person inquire on there and they were looking for ramps and mushrooms. That's the only thing they wanted, to just explore the 4 acres and look for mushrooms. And I was like, okay, great. But no one's ever contacted me or talked to me about any development on there, none. So the likelihood of it taking off or whatever, I find that very small. And if it does, I mean, I've had conversations with Jennifer about this. The use as a storage facility, if there was some huge value there, if the eye clinic wanted to do a Weston location or urology associates wanted to do something there near the hospital, all of a sudden, guess what? There's tons of land out there that could be developed before they'd even want to address me and tear down the storage facilities, you know. I mean, Tim and Fritz had their building when that burned down. They never replaced it because there's no demand out there, none. So the likelihood of this in the next 20, 30 years going somewhere besides what I'm planning on doing, I just can't believe it's gonna happen. But the land across the street is for sale. I don't know if you're aware of that, Joe. They've been marketing that for what, 1.5 years, and nobody's bought it to do anything. Obviously, it's got the wetlands problems, but yeah.
Can I just make a couple of clarifications so that we don't get on the wrong page on some things? So the comprehensive plan I'm referring to is the one that was completed in 2016. And then the Weston corridor plan was actually done not too long ago in, I think it was 22. So we are right now in the process of re-looking at the entire comprehensive plan. You guys are aware of that. So there would be new land use provisions looked at potentially, but right now, this is how the plan stands. So there would have to be a amendment to the comprehensive plan in order to do that, is what my comment is in here. And there is activity happening. We actually have a meeting on Thursday with a developer on that piece of land on the corner of Camp Phillips and State Highway 29. So
Which corner, Jennifer?
it would be the old Anton property, which is right the southeast side, so across the street from here.
Any other questions for the applicant? We got a question for Jen.
Yeah, that's.
So this is currently zone B2, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and it mentions down further in the packet that I guess, could you do this under the B2 or does it have to be B3?
No, so it's not allowed at all as a B2. It's not allowed by conditional use, not a permitted use.
Okay.
It's only allowed by conditional use in the B3 or the LI zoning district.
And does the
Given the
does
choice,
does
they
the plan
chose
allow
the LI.
B3?
What?
Does the plan allow B3?
The implementing districts is B2 and B3. The applicant was given those choices and they went with the LI.
And so I guess my question when I read this was, I said, if he had applied under B3, would we be sailing this right through the committee? Because
Not necessarily.
what would be it's an allowed use under B3 and he could apply.
It's
under
a
B3.
conditional use.
It's a conditional use under
Yes,
B3.
so it's a conditional use anywhere in the village, so it's not a permitted use. So even if it got rezoned to B2, it still has to get through conditional use performance standards.
Okay. And the property right behind is zoned
It is zoned LI,
LI.
but it's a
correct?
different, so if you look at those, the way that the corridor plan was done, they were put into districts. So this is the Western District, which basically has it as commercial. Then it goes into industrial. There's some residential component on the south side. And then it goes back into, we already have the industrial park and all that kind of stuff over there. So there's industrial land planned within the district, but not here. Being next to the interchange area and its proximity, it was looked at the time in 2015 and in 22 as retail. Because you tend to put those kind of components adjacent to interchange areas. And the proximity of the hospital and the residential areas to the west.
But the amount of space that's available for retail on just Schofield Avenue is huge. The idea that the property owners, me or my neighbors or anything else, anybody there is supposed to wait until everything from, Walgreens out to what, Brad Reagan out there or whatever, the tire store. I mean, to think that shouldn't be developed because, until all that other stuff is filled, it's impossible to think that that's a good use. I mean, I could come building it, getting on the tax rolls, although it's gonna be expensive. I mean, that's part of the process, but to ignore, that there's all this extra space everywhere, it just, the likelihood is there.
And the comprehensive plan is every 10 years?
Yes. You can relook at it every 5, but we have to do a brand new one in 10. So the last time we looked at this was 2004. We updated land use, or 2024, we updated land use and housing. So we incorporated all the corridor plans into the land use plan and went to what you see on the current future land use, and it had the implementation districts given in the chart. So that was around the last time that we looked at it, was 24.
And I know this is speculative, but is the comprehensive plan that we're going, or that will be implemented for the next 10 years likely to have the same designation, or is that likely to change in zoning? Or
That is
that
going to be,
impossible to know?
that's going to be up to the plan commission and the village board when we start looking at the land use portion of it. So you will look at all the different sections of the village and determine if there needs to be change based off of new data, things like that.
And that's likely to be decisioned at what time point?
We will be adopting everything hopefully in the spring.
So next spring.
Mhm.
And do you intend to start construction if approved this fall?
This fall, yeah.
So then we have the.
So we would have the ability to modify it, the plan.
Well, you'd have to go through a comprehensive plan amendment, and that's not what we're here for. We're here for a rezone, and right now that is not consistent with the comprehensive plan. So there would have to be an amendment to the comprehensive plan first before, because there is a consistency requirement.
Jen, can I ask a question, Jen? On Locre's property where Anton's is,
Yep.
that's about 60 acres away. Is his looks like it's got a little bit of mixed uses, green area Is that just considered wetland? I'm assuming that's wetland and pond.
That's the environmental corridors.
Okay. What is, at this time right now, what is being proposed? Is that retail or is it?
It would be retail.
But that's a 40 away from it, isn't
He is,
it?
Yes, it is.
yeah, he's also looking at the Putnam property, which is the one across the street.
Anything else, Gary?
No, thank you.
Did you have anything else? Otherwise, I'll,
No.
okay, I'm sorry. All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Sir, if you could give your name and address for the record.
Yeah, Nick Bansick with Marathon Technical Services, 4010 Ashland Avenue, Wausau. Speaking on behalf of Steve Mano as his engineer. Just a couple things you guys were talking about, I thought I would chime in on. So we did have a meeting and have an option to go with the B3 or the LI rezone because they both allow the same conditional use for the personal storage. The reason we went with the LI option, there's only a couple things different. As far as I remember, is a little bit less landscaping requirement in the LI and a little less upgraded building material in the LI. Steve does plan, and we have it on the plan, to put up a screen fence along Weston Avenue, so you wouldn't really be able to see any of it anyways. So that was really the big reason we went that direction in the rezone as opposed to going with B3. I believe what Jennifer said is if we had gone B3, or you're asking Roy, would that be allowed? It sounds like for the comprehensive plan that would be. I don't remember in the meeting, I could be wrong, but I don't remember anyone saying if you apply for the LI, it can't even go through because you need a comprehensive plan amendment first. Otherwise, we probably would have asked to have a comprehensive plan amendment first if that's the case. Those are just a couple of things I wanted to bring up. So you guys understood the full conversation of why we went the direction we did, even though we had the option for B3, we just thought it didn't make sense for how he wanted to use the property, where he could do personal storage in either of them. It's just a couple of requirements that are different.
Thank you.
Steve, was there anybody else for your team?
No, I think Dean has.
Yep. So I'll call up Dean Dietrich. I'm just gonna go in order here.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You could give your address for the record.
Yes, please. My name is Dean Dietrich. I'm an attorney in Wausau. My address is 3024 North 10th Street in Wausau, 54403. That address is also the address for the president and the official address of the Wausau Child Care Foundation. And I'm here on behalf of the Wausau Child Care Foundation, which is the owner of the parcel of land directly to the east of the two parcels that are under consideration before you today. The board of directors of the Wausau Child Care Foundation have not taken a position regarding this proposed rezone. They just became aware of it very recently with the communication from the village. So I'm here really just to do a couple of things, to give you some information and really to tell you that we're interested and concerned as an adjoining property owner. The information that I want to give to you is the fact that this is property that's been donated to the Wausau Child Care Foundation a number of years ago. As kind of a side note, I happen to be a municipal attorney for 50 years, and I've not experienced what I experienced last year when the property taxes for this property dropped about $2,000 or more. And that was relating to the donation price for the property a number of years ago. I just want to make it clear for everybody that there really is no planning being done by the Wausau Child Care Foundation or by the Wausau Child Care Board of Directors to build anything
on this property. I think you all know the challenges that daycare faces. And with the daycare located further south, this is not likely to be a property that would be built on by the Wausau Child Care Organization in the near future. Things could change, just like politics could change things, so who knows? But I think it's very fair and appropriate that you be advised of it. I did note that there are a number of storage units a little further south than this property. So it does surprise me that we'd be looking to expand storage areas when there are other areas already where there is storage located. But the issue, as I understand before you, really relates to your strategic plan or your comprehensive plan. As someone who's worked in that field as a municipal attorney, obviously the comprehensive plan is a very important yardstick for you to consider. And I acknowledge that the Wausau Child Care Foundation Board is not here to take a position one way or the other on the rezone, but felt it important to have that information presented to you. I'm willing to answer any questions, though I don't know that I'm giving you much to answer questions for.
Maybe you have any questions for him?
No, I just wanted to say thanks for coming in and giving us that information.
May I ask a question?
Yeah.
Well, you haven't determined whether or not you would construct something on this property. It was donated to you. Do you anticipate at some point, if you received an offer for it, that you would sell it for the benefit of the organization?
If there is not a significant change in, I can be accused of giving you a lawyer answer. But frankly, if there's not going to be a significant change in how childcare is funded and operates, I would think the foundation board would be very open to discussions for the sale of this parcel.
Appreciate that insight. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
I was just looking at our other forms here. Everybody else is related to a different item. Was there anybody else in the audience for public comment on this item? Is there anybody online that had public comment on this item? One last time, anybody online or in person that wish to give public comment on the public hearing? Okay, I will close the public hearing. Discussion from the commission. Or questions?
Page 25 up. I just want to make sure that you guys all see the staff findings, because we didn't talk about the aspect that one of the major themes of the Weston Avenue corridor, and especially this Western district, was commercial development that also we had employment objectives in there. So we wanted to make sure that anything that was kind of going in there was going to bring employment into the area. That was a major focus of the corridor plan and the comprehensive plan as a whole. And so this development would not have that component either. So I just want to make sure that you guys are all aware of that, because essentially it's not staffed, it's just storage units basically. So that was just one thing that I should have said in my original testimony. So I just wanted you to be aware.
Discussion, questions,
Yeah,
comments?
so Jennifer, are you suggesting that if they were applying for B3, that if that was adopted, the zoning was changed to B3, there wouldn't be a need to change the comprehensive plan?
So B3 is a typical implementation district that you can look at, but you can also look at the development type. So you have more components than just the land use component. There's all kinds of things in the comprehensive plan, like the employment aspect of it. The use that he's proposing is more of something that is more of an industrial use, and that you see those in industrial areas. So Transport Way to the south was set up as like a mini industrial park. We do have additional industrial park land planned for further into the corridor in appropriate spots where the Plan Commission and the village board at the time thought that that was the best place for it. We also have land available in Business Park South yet, where something like this could go, or the old driving range site there, which is not technically a part of Business Park South, but is Business Park South, adjacent to it. As Mr. Dietrich said, we do have quite a bit of storage facilities in the area, and you guys might remember in the last 3 years, we've had 3 such things come in, facilities come in. Well, actually, we had 4. One of them did not get built, and the other 3 have been back in here for multiple amendments and actually reducing their plans. So the Transport Way one is basically, if it gets done, will be done in 2 phases. He pulled back that 1 phase. The Ryan Street did the same thing. And then you guys saw kind of the flip flop of what was going on the mini warehouses on Schofield Avenue. So that's all things to kind of take into consideration.
Yeah, but I hear about the storage space, but I don't even know that that's appropriate for us to consider. I mean, there's a company in Wisconsin that constantly puts up gas stations, and sometimes they're across the intersection from one they already have, and as long as it's allowed, that's their decision, right? I mean, I don't think we're here to decide how much storage space we should or shouldn't have in Weston.
Yeah, I'm of the same mindset where I'm of the opinion that we let the market kind of figure out what's needed and where they need it, and it's their responsibility to build what's needed, as long as it's acceptable within the planning and the things that we have laid out already.
I feel like there's things going on, and I'm sure there are, that I'm just not aware of, and they're at the board level. And so I hesitate to move forward with something like this until I hear from the board. And that's one of the recommendations, is to send it to the board to get their, let me say it correctly, their input on the rezoning and forward recommendation of the village. Yeah.
Item number 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, or this back page number 2. So until, I hear kind of more from the village board, what's going on that I don't know about, because I'm a planning commission member, not a board member.
Well, you guys are looking at the land use. So you're tasked with the comprehensive plan, the zoning code, and making recommendations to the board. So
But what I'm,
they still have the ultimate say.
yeah, but where I'm having a little issue with is, okay, so are there things going on with that area around there that maybe I'm not familiar with, right?
I mean, I can say as a board member, I'm not aware of any information about plan development or anything that's been presented to me.
It would come through this body first.
Yeah, other than we're working on the
Yeah.
update, but I'm not aware of like any discussions or whatever. I think that would come here and we would discuss that. Certainly staff are probably having discussions about trying to recruit business and all that type of stuff, but nothing that I'm aware of that's been presented to us, or at least me.
Joe, can I chime in and ask Joe? a question from prior. Joe, has there any been concerns or consideration from the board that you can talk about, Joe?
Yeah, so, when we visited this quite some time ago, the same question was there is what eventually would be built on that property. And, there really hasn't, none of those other things that we thought that would be commercial or retail have developed at all. And the reality is that property is adjacent to something that is owned LI. And it would allow some value to be put on there that would in fact help the village. It would also, now that the street has been redeveloped, the idea of having retail driveways that close to the intersection might be an issue with high traffic too. You know, so the idea, I get it that it's a high traffic area and a gas station might want to be on the corner, but getting in and out of the driveways gets to be a challenge, especially when you look at some other areas that are developed where they actually have a divider, you know, in the intersections. So myself, I really don't have an issue with allowing him to put up something, storage in that area that would be screened appropriately and appearance would be such that it really wouldn't detract from the corridor itself. I just the issue of changing the comprehensive plan, I guess I hadn't considered how much more difficult that would be if the zoning was changed to LI as opposed to B3. But if it was B3, it would appear that the likelihood is that it'd have to be a little nicer appearing than just industrial park type property. And I'm thinking that Steve might consider that instead of LI.
Yeah, and I'll ask this question because I see Michael is not in attendance there tonight. Jen, can you recall, or maybe one of the inspectors could possibly help as well, but where do we have our entrance now? Is our entrance still got to be down between or on Steve's property to enter to even get to the first property on the corner? Because that first property that everybody thought would be a nice gas station has changed hands several times because of its limitations.
If I could mention that, I believe the motion that was done by Lauren White gave the individual property owners their access to their lots. So in my sense, I would have the ability to put 2 driveways in. The gentleman on the corner would be able to put his access point in only on Weston Avenue. Although he does have a 10-foot easement across mine. Is it 10 foot? I believe it's 10-foot easement for access across mine. But when Lauren made the motion to approve the layout of Weston Avenue, he had made it to allow all 3 property owners access to their. You got to remember, at the time there was also discussions of running that road up and putting a cul-de-sac in there, which would have made it much more difficult on an access standpoint.
Steve, I agree with you. I remember speaking on these items because the access to that intersection, there was a certain distance that we discussed that needed to be up the road for that traffic to turn and enter in. And I swore it was into your property and had easement to get into the west property.
Right, the previous owner had given the corner lot access across the first lot that we have. But when it was laid out, when Weston Avenue was finally laid out, all of the individual property, those lots there, each one of them was given access there. So the one on the corner is access. There wasn't any limitation from like the DOT or anything like that, but the access point would have been moved over to where our lot line is.
Page 60.
Right now, there's a driveway that was put in when they redid, Weston Avenue. The first lot is what's accessed right now.
Nick is showing a 30-foot access easement.
30 foot.
Not exactly sure
There's a chunk.
which
that
one it
went-
is, but
There's a chunk that went to the village.
so
when they
he's
did
got a
Weston.
point there.
I would like to point out though, if I could just add one thing about the question in the comments. Inner Springs 2 years ago, 3 years ago is a lot different than it is today. And the amount of residential, now that the TIF is being, sunset or whatever, there's a tremendous amount of residential that's available, or gonna be available for potential access. So as far as the economics of worrying about whether it's gonna be successful or not, that shouldn't be something to give concern. I don't have concern with that at all, to be honest with you. Just because I seen how fast Inner Spring was developed, in that way, and I live on the other side of that. It's
Well, we shouldn't be even worried about that. That's not our responsibility.
For sure. And we should, I appreciate the information. We are past public comment, but I do appreciate the background and the information. Does anybody else, I guess, have questions for Jennifer or discussion amongst the commission about this? Ultimately, we can debate appropriate use and success and all that, and but we have to look at what our plan is and make some determinations based off our plan until things are changed or adjusted from my perspective. So does anybody else have any other questions? Otherwise I'll move on to determination. We do have a determination spelled out on page 21. We also have a printout here. There's some information from the applicant as well from staff, just as far as some background on those questions. Obviously, it's up to us to answer the questions, how we determine. But question number one is the proposed rezoning consistent with the comprehensive plan as is required by Wisconsin statutes?
So that'd be a no.
I think it would be a no also. I would say no.
Also a no.
Gary?
Sorry, I had it on mute. I said no.
Dave? No. No, okay. Item number 2, does the rezoning further the purpose and intent of this chapter?
What chapter are we referring to? The
Chapter 94.
The
Zoning.
The zoning chapter.
Okay, that is the zoning chapter.
Yep.
All right.
And I am no on that.
No. No also.
Yeah, I'm a no on that also.
Gary?
No.
Number 3, does rezoning address any of the following that are not properly addressed on the current official zoning map? Number 1, the current zoning map contains an error showing a use or development inconsistent with actual or intended land use. Number 2, change conditions such as new data, infrastructure, development, annexation, or zoning updates make the property better suited for a different zoning district. Or number 3, changes in growth patterns or rates create a need for rezoning.
No.
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 Okay. Number 4, does the proposed zoning district maintain the desired consistency of land uses, land use intensities, and land use impacts as related to the surroundings of the subject property?
No. Well, that's where I would vote yes, because there is LI directly adjacent to it.
And no. It's a tough one.
Yeah, I'm gonna I'm gonna say, I'm gonna agree with, Joe on that. There could be an argument, there is LI abutting it, so, but I can't comment on the condition or the comprehensive plan on how we have to hold tightly to that. That's my only thing that's unknown.
I feel exactly the way Gary just stated. One of the things I looked at was it's LI right behind it. But I also understand that behind it and contiguous to it are not the same or necessarily on given the layout of the roads.
Do you have a yes or no on that? I know it's hard with.
At least I'm gonna lean more towards yes than no, but
Okay.
I'll go with the yes, so I can't hedge.
Gary, I didn't know if I heard a yes or no from you.
Yes, yes. But I threw the butt in there about the legality of the comprehensive plan. I don't know enough about that. That's why I like to reference Jen in a lot of these because she knows the circumstances much better than we do.
But I gave you my answer, which was the one right above it, and it explained your LI question. So if you want me to read through it, I can do that.
Would you like that information, Gary?
No, I'm reading it. I've read
Oh, okay,
it.
sorry.
I think, yeah, I think it's still in somewhat of question. It's just, it's hard to see an area not being developed. That's the toughest part of it is in a year from now, is the comprehensive plan going to be changed? Because of the circumstances? None of us know. But is it difficult to not see development happen when we all know we need it? Yes, it is.
Absolutely. Okay. Based on those determinations, do I have a recommendation? There is on page 18 some recommended language.
What did the plan commission decide?
Oh,
Answer on there?
I'm sorry. So as I believe there were 3 yeses and 2 nos on that. Sorry about that.
I'm guessing that you and Decent are the no's.
Correct. Good on that.
Yep. Thank you.
So page 18, there's some recommended language for official action. Everybody has a motion.
You're asking, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'll make a motion for denial. Planning Commission recommends denial of the rezone request and forwards the recommendation to the village board at the meeting agenda
All right, I have a
as
motion.
presented.
I have a motion from Deason. Do I have a second? Do I have a second for denial?
I'll be grudgingly seconded.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion to deny, do a recommendation to deny to the village board? Okay. With that in mind, all those in favor of recommending denial to the village board, say aye. Aye. Any opposed to recommending denial to the village board?
Aye.
Gary, you're muted.
Sorry, aye
To,
to the denial. I don't agree with that one. I think it should be no recommendation.
Okay.
Let the board.
Gotcha. Okay, so we are 3 to denial, 2 no. Motion passes. Okay. Thank you. Item number 6, project number 202602666, request a sign special exception sign permit for LNS Electric.
Yeah, you need to defer.
Oh, that's right. Yep, sorry. Still on number 5, item G, sub G, consider motion to defer action on conditional use permit request. So because we can't have conditional use until the board makes decision, we need to consider a motion to defer. Do I have a motion?
Motion to defer.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now to item number 6, project number 202602666, request for a sign special exception sign permit for LNS Electric 5707 Schofield Avenue.
That was me. So this request is for a special exception sign permit for LNS Electric. They are, am I speaking too soon? Okay, I want to double check. They are refacing the existing freestanding monument sign and are adding a decorative element on top. This proposed sign will be 9 feet in height and will remain in its existing location, which has an 8-foot setback from the property line. Because of the current code requires a setback equal to the height of the sign, a special exception is needed, and staff recommends approval.
And just a note on this too, you guys had put in a provision that we could approve it if it was 10 feet away, and it's 9. So that's why it's here in front of you, is that it's too close.
Okay, so I move to approve the special exception sign permit for staff recommendations allowing.
I'll
LNS
second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7, request for a new animal fancier license at 5512 North Birch Lane, Chukowski.
All right, this is a request from Kira Bukowski for an animal fancier license at 5512 North Birch Lane. The applicant is requesting approval to keep 4 dogs at the property for use in sled dog activities. The application has been reviewed by the village humane officer who inspected the property and is recommending denial based on concerns regarding the size of the residence and available fenced outdoor area in relation to the number and size of the dogs. The Plan Commission will consider the application, the humane officer's recommendation, and any public comment before taking action under the current provisions of section 10.123. And I just want to note that going forward, there is a request before the board to move this item out of Plan Commission into clips. So this will be the last one that you guys will be seeing. And we don't see very many of these.
How many dogs do we allow? 2?
So they went to 3 dogs.
No, how many do we allow? 3.
But you can have 3 dogs and cats.
4 animals, but
4
not more than
animals
3
total.
of a type.
Yeah, because it used to be 3 dogs and 2 cats, and there was a change done. So we allow 3 dogs that she could license. Currently, none of them are licensed until we figure this out. Because they were not licensed.
I do have 3 people that have signed up for public comment on this item, so I'll call you up in the order that I received your sheets. Number 1 is Kira Lenzo, who I believe is the,
Yeah, I got a name change.
gotcha, okay.
I would like to.
If you could
say-
just give your name and address for the record.
Kira Lenzo, 5512 North Birch Lane in Weston. I did actually license 3 of them and obviously trying to license the 4th one. I do have the receipts for all of those. They've always been up to date on shots. I do use them for sled dogs. And they start training, I want to say in October. I do also want to say I only have one neighbor who has been harassing us for the last 3 years. He does have a temporary restraining order against him because of the harassment. And he has been harassing us about the dogs, and so has his wife. And they've been harassing us about everything, our kids, trucks, motorcycles, everything. They get either 5 to 7 miles a day if weather permits of exercise. Otherwise, if it's too hot out, then we do mental stimulation, so training a lot of the times. I did hire a personal trainer for them. And I mean, they're part of our family. We didn't expect to have 4. I went to Arizona to rescue the mom because she was going to be put into the kill shelter and they had 1 male left. And he said that if I didn't take him, then he was also gonna be put in the kill shelter. And obviously I couldn't let that happen. He was very skittish when I first got him and he would have been euthanized. So I hired a personal trainer for him and he's doing tremendously better. I've rescued 3 out of the 4 of them. And I don't know, I just can't imagine getting rid of them. I use them for recreational sled dog. The president of the sled dog community is actually on Zoom call right now too. And I would also like to say, the neighbors have, we have multiple videos of them trespassing to take pictures of our property. I pick up dog feces at least twice a day. And I have cameras in our back fenced in area that prove that I do. We have the metal bin to put the dog feces in. And we are gonna be moving within the next year just because of the harassment and the dogs need more room to run. And yeah, that's about it.
Okay.
Also, I would like to say they do complain about the smell. And we have had multiple cops come onto our property in our fenced in area and say that there's no dog feces and it does not smell. Any questions at all?
Yeah, so what do you do to exercise the dogs then if
I
if
take
they're,
them biking.
pardon me?
I take them biking. I taught them how to pull me on the bike. So we bike around the city and they run along, like they run in front of me and pull me on my bike.
So all of them at once?
No, I usually take about 2 and then 2. It's dangerous if you take more than 2.
Okay. Any other questions for her? Otherwise, I'll go on to the other public comments. Right. Thank you. Next I have Barbara Schultz.
Yeah.
If you could just come up,
Okay.
give your name and address for the record, please.
1304 Hope Avenue, Weston. I live across the street. Okay, I'm right across the street from them. And yeah, I mean, I really have no problem with them having the dogs in the neighborhood. They're not noisy. They don't cause any issues. So I think she should get the license. Like she said, they don't plan on living there. This is kind of like their starter home and they don't plan on staying there. So I think it's just the 4 dogs that they're gonna have. They don't plan on, being a big kennel or anything. So. Yeah.
Thank you. Next I have, and I'm going to screw this up. Is it Sita or Sita?
Yeah.
Sita. If you could give your name and address for the record.
My name is Sita Bjorkman, 5604 North Ridge Lane. She is my north end neighbor. And when they first moved in here in 2022, they had ducks, chickens, all sorts of animals on their lawn. We never had any issues with their animals until it started to smell. So I turned them in. Marathon County came in, told them they had to get rid of everything and that they had to register their dog. That was in 2022. And then they turned their patio area, which is a 12 by 25 patio, with it is patio base for their dog to defecate in. This is 3 dogs. Now she wants 4. And they're defecating in this patio area 3 times a day. If they decide to rinse it off or anything at all, that runs off right onto my property. My kids play right there. We never had an issue with their animals. It's just a matter of them keeping it up, keeping it sanitized and taking care of it. And they haven't. That's why they're fighting, because we can constantly smell dog poop. She's threatened myself and neighbor Lori that she was gonna let her dog loose and attack her dog because she was walking her dogs in front of our property there. Lori gave a statement to the cops on July 5th because she didn't want to make a statement when this happened a few years ago because of retaliation or because of the way that she was gonna, because she feared them, because of the way that they acted to her and yelled at her and screamed at her about getting off her property, which wasn't even her property. So this is really about her allowing them to defecate on this patio area, which technically is not a kennel. So they're walking through the garage into their home and they're letting their dog stay out there. This fancy dog license says that she has to have a fenced in backyard. Her backyard is not fenced. So she's allowing them to stay out there in that patio area and defecate throughout the day. So I'm petitioning for a denial.
Thank you. Is there anybody else in the audience or online that wish to give public comment on this? If you could give your name and address for the
My name
record.
is Nancy Bjorkett at 2306 North Fourth Avenue in Wausau. I don't live in the neighborhood. I am a grandmother to see this two little girls. And I just want to say that I have been over there for years now and seeing the problem, hearing about the problem, upset about the problem, upset that the little girls have to smell it because they do smell it. I smell it when I'm over there. And for them to come out their patio door, let the dogs run down on the patio with a fence right there next to their yard where they play and not clean it up, they give the kids or the parents the finger when they see them. They yell and scream also. My son has even tried to tell them to please just clean it up on a regular basis. And that's where it started years ago. And they just tend to just totally want to ignore it. They live on a postage size lot in the city of Schofield. There is no fenced in yard. The house is 400 square feet. There's 4 of them living there. They have 2 children, 2 cats and 3 dogs, and they want to get another dog. That makes a grandmother furious. That's all I can say.
Thank you. And obviously, we're done with public comment. Obviously, this is in the Village of Weston, otherwise it wouldn't be in this room. So was there anybody else that had public comment on this?
Could I just say one thing?
You already gave your public comment, but thank you. Okay. With that in mind, discussion from the commission on this item. I can see why this is going to clips in the future.
My comment is we have a humane officer for a reason.
Mhm.
I'm not an expert on this. I assume he is. I tend to back the findings of the humane officer.
So a question I had specific to the report from the humane officer, I guess, is how does he, and maybe you don't know this, but I guess how do they come to the determination about what's appropriate space for, I guess, that size of a dog in a yard? Because that seems to be kind of the hang up.
That I'm not sure. I know that all the humane officers go to training, so I don't know if there's some kind of standard that
I'm gonna guess.
they use for that kind of thing, for kennels and for how much that you should have for the size of the dog.
Okay.
I don't know. We can find that out. This does have to go to the village board too, so that's something I can find out.
I think that would be helpful information just to know, like, hey, this is so far outside of what's acceptable for their size. Otherwise it's kind of unknown.
Objective.
Although the applicant herself did say that they plan to move because there's not enough room for the 4 dogs, which I think does speak to that a little bit. Any other discussion? All right, hearing none, does anybody have a motion on this?
I would move to recommend denial of the animal fancier license for 5512 North Birch Lane based on the findings of the humane officer that the property does not provide sufficient space to accommodate 4 large breed dogs in a manner consistent with the requirements and intent of section 10.123 of the Village of Weston Municipal Code.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And just for clarification, so this then goes to the board, right?
Yeah, the
the
village
final-
board does
Yep.
the final licensing.
So this will eventually go to the village board and they'll make a decision ultimately.
Okay, how do I guess, like, tell them I don't have the cats anymore?
If you wanna, I guess, connect. maybe with-
I will be putting together the report.
Okay.
I can put that in there. I thought he did put that. I asked,
I guess if you have any
Yeah,
we
other,
knew that you rehomed the,
Yeah,
The
I just
animal.
want 2 for the cats.
if you have any other information, maybe that you want considered by the board, maybe just share it with Jennifer.
Okay.
And the next
yeah,
few-
email or?
yep, or you can email it to Pam, because I think you've been conversing with her, the
Oh,
clerk.
okay, there you
Oh,
go.
yep, she's right behind you, and she can get that to me.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. All right, item number 8, July 2026 staff approved certified survey maps and site plans.
Move to acknowledge.
Is a motion to acknowledge.
I'll move to acknowledge. Give it to Joe.
A motion and a second by Jordan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 9, July 2026 building permits.
Motion to approve as presented.
Motion from Decent.
Second.
Second from Gary. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 10, Planning and Development Department Monthly Project Update Report.
I do have my report in there. I changed it up a little bit this time. So hopefully it's a little bit easier to follow when it comes to the different projects. We're hoping to close out a number of them in the next couple months between Travis and Audrey. Getting out there and closing out the ones from 25 and earlier. Let's see here. I did put some upcoming department work and then also some upcoming plan commission work for you. I do want to note the housing affordability report is pretty much done, except for I need help from Nate to get those. We have to update all the vacant parcel lists. So a bunch of the vacant parcels is now being built on. So I have to get new GIS data from him and then we'll get that up there. We do have the development data updated. I think Audrey just has to add Bull Junior because when we worked on it a couple weeks ago, Bull Junior was not approved yet. So we'll get that. But that, if you remember, has the little ticker on the side that shows kind of where we're at with our housing and how we're meeting what is needed for housing in the future. We are going to have to most likely next month bring some conditional use permits before you for some discussion. I did list those. There's 3 of them that are currently in violation in some form or just asking to change some of the parameters on there because we're not getting the reports that we're supposed to for that. So we'll be working on bringing those in front of you to figure out how you guys want us to handle them going forward. So I don't know if you have any questions.
Any questions for Jennifer?
Jen, can you give us a update on the 3 sites?
3 sites.
The 3 sites.
The conditional use permit?
Yeah, what are the problems we're having?
Okay, so USAM, which is 3107 Concord Avenue, we received a complaint from the neighbor in July asking questions about the conditional use that was given out. There's a green space area along the south side of the property that the Plan Commission agreed that should be kept green space, and it's currently being parked with a number of different types of vehicles right now there. So a notification was sent. I have not heard anything. They did pick up the certified mail. The last time Roman was out there, they had not moved the items from the green space area. So we'll bring that forward next month and you can decide how to handle that. The Bug property, that one has been in the works for a really long time. I think it's a 22 project and they just are not moving forward with it. The way the conditional use permit states is you basically have to have it built within 2 years or ask for an extension. And so we're kind of at that point, whereas building permits are basically have expired. I know he was working with Roman about a year ago and then we just kind of lose touch with him and he doesn't move forward. So we need to know.
Yeah, I did have a talk with Bruce on that and Roman, he said he was working with you on it, but Bruce gets busy and I'm not making excuses for the guy. But I did tell him he's got to be.
Agenda item. It will be an agenda.
Okay, yeah, we'll discuss that.
Yeah.
Sounds like next month.
Yeah, I just don't want to get so far into discussion that we're discussing it because
Yeah,
it's not an agenda.
That's fine.
And then the other one is Tommy Car Wash. There were some provisions put into the conditional use permit where they're supposed to supply information every year on the water quality and things like that. And
Oh, the tank inspections, Jen. Yeah.
yeah, the tank inspections. I've been asking for them for every year since you guys issued it. So I just think that if it's not necessary, I just want to make sure that we're following through. And if you guys give a conditional use, these people are actually doing what you're asking them. So when they don't, you will see them come back for you.
Not to make a discussion on that one either, but that was because it was in the wellhead area. And
Yep, that's one of the wellheads.
Yep.
Yeah.
Understood. Okay.
So
Thank
I
you.
just don't know if it's necessary because I'm having issues getting that and the liability insurance that was required. So.
Okay. Thank you.
And they did do all the inspections of the salt sheds that were in. I think I said that they were gonna do them. They actually did them the day I did the report, so they have the first ones done. And so we'll work through those, get them, there's some corrections to be made for a few of them. And they'll do the winter one when they have salt in there too.
Any other questions for Jennifer? All right. Do you want us to acknowledge that?
Sure.
Do I have a motion to acknowledge?
Motion to acknowledge item 10.
Second.
Motion in a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Is that report still?
I love that information.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, cause it was asked at one point and I just keep doing it, so I don't know if it's actually helpful or.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's very helpful.
Actually, I think a very common thing we hear from citizens is what's happening here, what's going on, and this
Yeah.
helps us easily answer that.
Okay.
Especially for the community. Yeah, what's going on over here? So people can kind of see, especially as new construction's happening or updates, like people can kind of know what the progress of things are. So I think it's helpful. Number 11, announcements and any remarks from commissioners? Joe?
No.
No. Gary, any announcements?
Nope. Thank you.
Got none. Number 12, future agenda items or staff referrals. I hear nothing. Number 13, next meeting dates. We'll have our regular meeting on Monday, September 14th, 2026 at 6 p.m. We'll have a comprehensive plan steering committee meeting on Monday, September 28th, 2026 at 6 p.m. and a community outreach night at the Municipal Center on Tuesday, September 29th, 2026 from 4 to 6 p.m.
It's not required for you guys to be there, but if you want to come.
Sorry for which one?
What is that gonna entail?
For C.
For C.
Trucks in the parking lot, tours of the building, and we'll have staff around the building to answer questions about things that we do at the municipal center.
You need to be there for B. It sounds like we have a lot of discussions to happen on land use.
B will be busy.
Actually, can I just ask a quick question? I just want to make sure I'm not missing out on stuff, and I apologize that I did not make it to the last meeting. I blew it. I was working up north and forgot about it. But on the steering committee, I think I did get an email stating that the last one was canceled. But I know that it goes out onto the calendar. I don't use that calendar. I use my work calendar. So unless my IT can train me, when you guys make an extra meeting without, I think Val or Jen, one of the two, gives Joe and I or whoever else on the committee, like the yearly one that we can just dump in to our calendars, which it updates, but I don't get like this September 28th. I don't, and I think, Jen, I've asked you a couple times, like, not asked you, like, I just said, have you sent that out? And you said, yeah, it should be on the calendar, but it doesn't show up on my calendar. I got to add it. So maybe
It probably goes to your village one.
Yeah, probably.
Then you could actually, you can accept it and move it to your work calendar if you like. Or you can forward it.
Okay, that's a me problem then with my IT guy. I just have to do
Should
that.
be able to switch it in Outlook because I can go between personal and village stuff on my.
Yeah, we're just so, I mean, I just don't, I'm being honest, I just don't have the time to be dinking around in two different calendars, making sure. I got one calendar that I go by and that's,
Just write that one down because this is gonna be an important meeting.
yeah, I'm gonna put it on here as soon as we hang up, so. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Yes. A second.
I have a motion from Decent, second from Mumper. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned at 7:15 PM.
Thank you. Have a good